everyone. How are you? Let's see. Kara, good morning. Linda, good morning. Josephine, good morning. Dawn, good morning. Angela, Miss Scones, good morning, good morning. All right, well, check this out. I'm actually caught up. Like, I was rather proud of myself yesterday, being able to get caught up on time. So, what do we have left? Good morning, Shannon. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. Yeah, what do we have left? I know we did a little bit of leaves. So here's my plan, right? And ignore the Band-Aid, you know, it's me. Actually, no, it totally could have been prevented. I did yard work this week and I didn't think I needed gloves. And then next thing you know, 3 hours it's passed by and I'm like, oh, I probably should have worn some gloves. Anyway, I didn't. So it is what it is. Sounds good, Dawn. Thank you. Yeah, hi, Kara. So we have foliage on the outside left. We've got the owl and the branch. So here is my plan because I feel like we haven't done enough foliage for me to say, okay, cool, I'll catch up and then we'll be done with this page today. I feel like there's enough that I need to at least do this half. So I'm thinking 2 more streams for this. So today I want to get as far as I possibly can on the owl. Hi, Anamta, I am doing all right. It has been very, very busy between stuff for work and kids after school stuff. I swear I spend 75% of my life as a chauffeur. Like, it's cool. Hi, Marcy. Sounds good. But anyway, yeah, so we're here. So we did the clouds last time. I went ahead and got caught up. Hilariously enough, I was going to do the sky last time, but I couldn't find my muted turquoise. Unsurprisingly, I was correct. It had fallen behind the desks. So, yeah, I was like, oh, well, there it is. So anyway, I did do the sky in the background, and it was muted turquoise, some white to kind of smooth it out a little bit, and then a little bit of indigo. But if you want to see how we did the clouds, you can check out last stream. So that is my plan today. We're going to work on the owl and get as much done as we can on the owl. I'm thinking we'll do the branch first and then go on, and then next time we'll do the foliage, and then that should be it, which actually I was thinking, oh no, I was thinking of something else, never mind. I was thinking about when her Inklings was coming out, but I was like, oh wait, because I was getting that confused because I know that I'm like, we'll finish can I finish this book series when it comes out? And I was like, wait a minute. I am excited to finish this and post it because I think it's going to look really pretty. We're going to go with like a brown owl. In fact, I meant to look up like owl inspo pics. So here, let's look up barn owl. Those are notoriously brown. Let's see. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different owl. Although pretty, that's not quite. Let's see. Let's look up brown owl and see what it comes up with. Okay, so it's got a number of them, but I don't know if I want to do a lot of brown owls. Like, I literally just looked up brown owl on Google. So if you are like, oh, well, what's she looking at? Just brown owl straight up. And I'm looking at a lot of like speckled ones, but I kind of like the idea of the chest being a little bit white and then the rest of his, you know, his head and his feathers and everything being brown. I want a little bit of that contrast of the white coming in. So what we may do is like more white here on the upper chest and then a lighter brown going down and then brown for the wings, the tail feathers, and the head. The eyes, I'm not sure. They're always like very fantasy, kind of fantastical eyes. So anything we choose, that's not going to be super, super accurate. I think we'll probably go for a darker brown on these outside feathers and then do something kind of striking for the eyes. There's a lot of owls that have like just straight black eyes, but like the great horned owl, they have really cool like orange and yellow eyes. And I think that would be a nice tie-in with this. So yeah, we're going to be dealing mostly with brands. You guys would be proud of me. I put the pencils away before stream because I knew we're kind of starting on a new section. So yeah, super exciting. Let's see. And then if you wanted to check out, I did post the most recent episode of Can I Finish This Whole Book? And I was going for like outlets. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Right? Yeah. So proud. Turn out. I know. Well, you know what it is too many times during this page have I been like, I can't find this pencil, or I had no idea I had no duplicates. So because it's been such a big, intense page, I was just like, it's just going to make my life easier. Shannon, you want to know what it is too? It's like when I'm getting ready for stream, like those little like shoulder on like cartoons, you know, you have the little angel and the, oh, here we go. You have the little angel and the little devil like sitting on the shoulders telling you what you should and shouldn't do. But rather than two, like I just imagine that like you're sitting on my shoulder and you're going, Emily, you know, you've experienced this. You know that this dream is going to go better if you put these pencils away. You should probably just put them away. So you live rent-free on my shoulder, giving me sage wisdom. Right? I know. Well, I realized at the beginning, like you guys know me, I love my my rainbow colors, and I was doing like, I love like teals and like peacock green, like those are all my favorite colors. And I was like, I was doing this so colorful all the way through. And so it was right about here that I was like, I need to do a balance in colors. And then this one I went for like a little more like darker colorful. And then of course this one was nice and bright. Then we've got, I loved the complementary colors, and this was kind of a mix of everything. So I've been trying to think about what I want to do for this page, and I think because each of these kind of deserves its own thing, I think I try to mix in where I do a full page and not like parts, because I know some people like absolutely hate parts. I might have mentioned it last stream, but like I posted the can I finish this whole page of this one, and I did it in 2 parts, and I posted the first part. It might have been on YouTube, but somebody just like, because the title is can I finish this whole book, but because I did it in parts, they're like, well, not like that, you can't. I'm like, I'm sorry, it takes a lot of time. Anyway, so I think I'll probably do part 1, 2, 3, but because I'm doing part 1, 2, 3, I kind of want to do something different with each, rather, because I thought about just ergo softs, but I've been brainstorming and I think I want to do 3 kind of different things with each one. Oh, nice. So yeah, so we've got the dinosaurs next. Why have I never really noticed this page before? We're going to have a an ocean page after that. So I could do paint with it, but I don't know. Hi, Trey. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. I haven't had a whole lot of me time, but especially because we've been so busy and I've been so tired, I've been going to bed earlier, but I did start something last night that it's been an activity on my mind to do for probably over a year or so. Some of you might remember when I did my embroidered shoes. Oh, nice, Jeanette. Hi, Cece. Anyway, you remember when I did my embroidered shoes? Well, I have about worn those into the ground. I wear them all the time. And they're still good shoes, but it's getting to the point where I started thinking like, I think I need some new shoes because I wear these all the time. Well, here's the thing. I got these high tops that you can kind of see a while back, like probably over 1.5 years. And my intention was to embroider the shoes like I did the other. And I posted a video where I did in fact embroider one side with black embroidery thread and whatever else. The more I wore the other shoes, I was just like, this white is going to, oh good, Jeanette, yes, rest, drink lots of water. Lots of water. It's gonna get dirty so fast. And I'm like, I need to fully cover these. But I also did all that embroidery on the other shoes and my hands were killing me by the time I was done with it. And so I was just like, I need to not do embroidery for these. So what I actually did is I actually took out all of the embroidery that I did for that video. If you go down to my Instagram and like scroll down, you'll find it eventually because I just did one part of the shoe. But anyway, so I spent some time taking out all that embroidery and you can kind of see like the speckles here where the thread was and the holes were poked, but I was like, I want to do something different. So I kept going back and forth about what theme I wanted, and I know this isn't like color related, but you know, you guys like crafty stuff too, about the theme that I wanted to go with these shoes. And the theme that I chose was something different on every side. So, and neither of these are done. Stick the embroidery parts on the new ones. I probably could. If anything, I'll just like clean them up real good and like display them because I'm definitely not like, exactly. See, there's not a whole lot of people IRL that can appreciate the craftiness. It's not like I'm selling these. These are legit just for myself. So far, the 2 panels I'm working on, and I'm doing 2 at the same time because I need to let them dry in between. But first off, one side, we've got Doctor Who. I can't do it now because it is absolutely too bright, but what you don't see is there is actually glow in the dark. This is all fabric paint. This isn't like wash or acrylic. Arteza actually sent me a bunch of fabric paint a year or 2 ago for a project. So I have all of this fabric paint. So I have been, you know, I just put it on like a little bit of a palette, and I've been painting it that way. So these are going to be the Doctor Who ones. I need to put some highlights on the TARDIS just a bit to help it stand out a little bit more. But so that's the side with Doctor Who. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other sides yet, but I'm just, you know, these are a few of my favorite things. Bye, Dawn. Thanks. By Labor Day, I mean, we got an extra day off. I don't know. We've been doing some, as it is, like this weekend, the kiddos are having sleepovers and birthday parties and school event. Like Saturday and Sunday are actually like super packed. At some point, I told Steve, I need to set myself up a schedule where like one day I work on personal projects, another day I film for social media. Of course, we have, you know, I do prep the day beforehand for stream, then we have stream day. Like I need to get to the point where I organize it, because I find that my own personal projects that I want to get done, like I'm working on a gouache painting for Steve's office of one of the buildings where he works. And I've made a lot of progress, but I've had zero time to get it done. I have that Lord of the Rings painting. I've gotten a minuscule amount done, and I've had that canvas since we moved here. Like it's so hard to find time to do the personal projects, which is why I did the shoes. Because one, I need a new pair of shoes, and I have these perfectly good ones that were sitting down there not done. So that was the motivation to get these done. So that's Doctor Who on that side. And the other one, again, it's not done. But this one's going to be Lord of the Rings side. So I just kind of blocked in where the different sections are, and I wanted it all to dry before I kept working. I got a little tape on the sole here. But this one is Lord of the Rings. Advert pop-ups in chat? Well, I do have ads on, so that may be what it is. Is it like the little ads that sit up at the top of the chat? I think you might be able to X them out. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. So like the wizard and the horse are like not even close to being done. It looks really rough right now. But I was mostly trying to get their space blocked in so I could do the rest. So I'm thinking, because I don't want to do space stuff on both of them. I want to do them differently. So I think on this side, on the other side of the Lord of the Rings, we're going to do Star Trek. I just haven't decided which Star Trek. Voyager is my favorite. So, I mean, everybody does Enterprise, right? I'm thinking Voyager. There's also a new Voyager video game coming out. I have to double check when, but I'm really excited about it. But yeah, so Lord of the Rings on that side, and we'll do Voyager on this one. Aw, thanks, Trey. You can exit out. Okay, sweet. Oh, perfect. Well, here, I'll hold it so you can see it. But yeah, I didn't worry about going too detailed because it's not like people are going to be staring at my feet. Yeah, it just pops up. But yeah, so had fun with this one last night. I had paint all over my hands by the time I was done. But yeah, so I'm gonna do Star Trek on that side, and then I don't know. I'll have to think about the other side, because those are like my favorite franchises. So I'll need to think. I know it sounds silly, but I have, you know, those little license plate plates that you can put around your license plate. We have this one that is like it's floral, but I love the colors. Like it's greens, it's pink, it's oranges. It's really pretty. And I'm like, I kind of feel like I want to do that, but then I'll be walking around matching my license plate on my car. I don't know if that's just a little too on the nose, but I don't know. I'm going to think about it. It'll take me a little bit to finish these other ones, but I was pretty pleased with the results thus far. And yeah, I'll be excited to, to get to wear them. I get a lot of compliments on the embroidered ones. And I know I keep setting these everywhere, but they haven't been walked in yet, so they're perfectly clean. But yeah, like I had a lady in the grocery store that saw my shoes and she was like, oh, they're so great, which is wonderful. I love the compliments, but also she's like, you should sell them. Yeah, I've just been putting them on a little palette. Yeah, because I'm just like, well, it's a small amount of paint, but I want it to last. I don't even know. Oh, here it is. So this is my gouache palette. I got all my gouache stuff on here. Put the fabric paint on top. Because it's ceramic, I'll be able to just peel off or scrape off this paint. So I'll probably do that and then start over when I go on there. But I figured that was the best place. And I just making sure I'm not using my nice brushes. on Barbara's stream, so I'll let her know she can't do anything. Yeah, no, it's just if we have ads turned on or monetization, which I do on mine. But the ads run after the stream. I don't have them going during the stream, except for the chat ones. Okay. All right, so I think that was all the things I wanted to tell you about. Trying to think. I think that was it. I mean, there was the new coloring page for this month. I know we're like halfway through the month, well, almost halfway. So if you haven't grabbed yours, you should. Got a new coloring page up in the shop last week, but God, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I suppose we'll get there. Anyway, we're gonna dive straight in on this one. So let's get rid of me there. It's so much easier when I'm just like jibber jabbering in the morning, you know, at the beginning, so we can, you see me. Oh, there goes my ginger root. It flew. Looks like I still had one. Wasting them. All right, so we're gonna do browns for the owl. We're gonna do some light colors. So we're definitely gonna grab our dark umber, which we have plenty of now. So dark umber, and let's get dark brown, which is itty bitty. We'll definitely be pulling out the pencil extenders. Yeah, because if I turn on like the run mid-roll ads or whatever, those ones are the ones I can control, like the ones that would interrupt stream to play. But yeah, I believe people that are YouTube, what is it, like YouTube Red or something? Thanks, CC. They're able to eliminate that. You know what Twitch does? Twitch does it to where people that subscribe to Twitch, and it's members here, but it's subscribers on Twitch, basically people that pay a monthly thing for, you know, emotes or whatever else. If you're a subscriber, you don't have to deal with the ads. But they don't do that with YouTube. If you're a member, it doesn't eliminate the ads. I feel like they should do that. Oh, good, Jeanette, good. Okay, so dark umber, dark brown. Do I want to do chocolate? I kind of want to do sienna brown, actually. Let's do sienna brown. Okay. And then for other colors, let's go light umber. Light umber. Let's do putty beige. Putty beige. We're definitely gonna do not seashell pink. Let's do peach beige. Peach beige is going to be 1085. Okay, peach beige. Definitely grab some cream. I swear, you guys saw my story post the other day. I'm getting my money's worth out of these pencils, I'll tell you. Okay, so that's cream. We're definitely going to include a white, of course. Let's see. Let's do French gray 1072. So that is going to be 50%. So let's see. Warm gray, French gray. What was that? French gray 1072. There we go. All right, 1072. And then, oh, nice. Let's see. Oh, ginger root. Definitely some ginger root. Okay. I don't think I'll do artichoke this time, but let's go ahead and grab bronze. Let's see. And then we'll definitely grab our black. And I think that's all we'll start with for now. We can always grab more later if we want to. Okay. And actually, like I said, we're going to start with the owl. I thought we'd start with the branch, but I kind of just want to dive straight into the owl because the owl's going to need more time than the branch is. All right, let's pop our little dark brown in the pencil extender here. Okay, let's see. And where is, I've been enjoying using my little handheld, but I don't know where it went. Oh, it's right there. 'Twas behind me. As long as this is nice and tight, this shouldn't move. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So, how has everybody's week been? Like I said, it has just been crazy busy. Like, by the time I pick up Steve in the afternoon, we are both just like The car ride home is usually pretty silent. Except for yesterday, I don't know what I was having. Like, I was definitely having like ADHD brain where my mind was just jumping a billion miles a minute. And obviously, like, I don't do politics here, but as everybody knows, there was a lot going on, not just in our country, but in the world as a whole. But Steve, being, he has a degree in history, in world history. What? No, it's maybe just history. Anyway, the point is, anything historical that has happened, he knows like the back of his hand. Why don't I publish? I would love to publish anything, but it's a lot more complicated than just like, well, why don't you publish it? Because you have to have a publisher, and I don't want to go through Amazon because the paper is crap. If I am ever to the point where I put in enough work to publish a book, which I am working on a proposal right now, and I do have a source that I'm going to send it to, I just really want to get it right. And so I've been working on it on the side. And if this is my one chance to send it to someone, I don't want to fudge it up, you know? But anyway, so yesterday on our drive home, I was trying to get a little bit of insight from him based on just different things that's going on. I was just like, hey, how does this match up to, you know, the world's history as a whole? Like, how do things compare to, because I've always said, like, people during World War II, especially since they didn't have access to as much information, like, they must have thought that the world was coming to an end then, right? I mean, can you imagine if you had lived through that? I would have thought for sure, well, this is it, we're all doomed, you know, whatever. But clearly it wasn't. So what I'll do is, like, news stories or whatever that I see, I'll kind of compile them in my head and then, you know, make sure I'm double checking my sources so that, you know, I know. We're going to start with dark umber. And I just kind of compile a list of things that has happened, and I bring it to him and be like, okay, so this, and this has happened. What do you think it means? Or, you know, how does this compare to how history has reacted in the past? Anyway, so we usually have a little bit more conversation going on, but yesterday I was just like very all over the place. And of course we were having another conversation about that. Again, I like to bounce my thoughts off of him because he generally has a bit more of a well-rounded view because he has literally studied things like this. But anyway, I was just like, talking about, you know, like our plans for this weekend, big world events that are happening, you know, some stuff going on with little Emily. And then like we were on our way home, we drove past a cotton field, and then I like had a random thought, you know, like, I don't know if you've ever seen a cotton field, but when they grow cotton and then harvest it, like those giant hay bales that sit in the field, generally after they collect it, they're just these massive, massive rolls of all of this cotton. And also there's so much left over in the field. The crafter in me really wants to be like, look, if you're going to throw away all that extra cotton, can I go in the field and pick some for myself? Because that would be fun. Granted, I don't, because that's, you know, theft and trespassing, but I think about it because it would be, you know, cool. Maybe I need to grow my own cotton plants. Anyway, but, you know, I've been looking at these bales of cotton, and when I say like they are, let's see, where's my, I don't have any sticky notes on me. Anyway, just imagine a giant kind of squat cylinder, right? And it's all of this cotton that's rolled up super tight and wrapped in kind of like a blue plastic. Now, these have been sitting in these fields for at least a week. I would be allergic to cotton? Wait, what? Why would I be allergic to cotton? Like the non-processed version? Call them big spider eggs. That's essentially what it is. Well, that actually kind of brings me to my question, because I was asking Steve, I was like, okay, they've rolled up all this cotton in bales, right? And it's condensed, especially, you know, the stuff on, like, it can't breathe as well because it's so compacted. And it has rained a couple times. So these giant wads of cotton bales are sitting in the fields, getting rained on, collecting moisture. And it's been out here for like a week. And so I asked him, I was like, so like, do these things collect mold? What's the processing? Do they just buy, Linda? Really, Shannon? Oh, that's interesting. But I was just like, surely they're growing some sort of mold, right? There's so much humidity in the air here. They're getting rained on, they're sitting, they're getting baked. Like, it feels like the perfect breeding ground. And so I'm just like, what is the process then after they've got them all gathered up. Obviously they wash them. And then I was like imagining that process. And I imagined that they go into like big vats and it all gets separated and everything. So I'm sure it all gets clean, but it just makes you wonder, how can there not be... Yeah, those sticks, man. I haven't seen them and how they harvest it. Usually it's like, oh, hey, look, the cotton's ready. And then the next day it's harvested. I'm curious how they do that because the sticks of the cotton are still standing. So it's not like they just mow it all down and collect all the cotton. Like, how do they go about that? Anyway, so he was chuckling because in the 20 minutes that we were driving home, we ranged all the way from political unrest to our children to weekend plans to, I wonder if these large bales of cotton get moldy. And he looked at me by this time because I haven't talked to many adults during the day. I've just been home. I've been working. I've been, everything else. Go pick up the kids, whatever. And I'm not going to talk to the kids about political unrest. It would just terrify them, right? And so, I am just like going a million miles a minute. And like, he knows that I like, pretty much, I told him, like, because he's the kind of person, and like, even his coworkers are shocked. Like, when you see him staring off in the distance and you ask him and you be like, hey, what are you thinking about? And he goes, nothing. And I'm like, no, Anamta, we don't. The only time we discuss world topics is when the kids approach us and are legitimately concerned. And again, I won't get into it too deep, but for instance, they had a lockdown drill at school yesterday because of recent events, and she came home and was very concerned. So I don't lie to the kids about it. I definitely put it in non-scary terms, but I am frank with them, but only when they specifically ask. We do not talk about the kind of stuff around them they don't need. We are so information saturated. I don't need to add to their anxiety. But you ask him and he's just like, nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean you're thinking of nothing? How can you possibly think of nothing? Like, I can't imagine my brain just being silent, like I can't, it just blows my mind. And so, here I am giving an insight to how my brain works, jumping from topic to topic, like I've definitely got a little bit of, my thing's on autofocusing, Lorelai Gilmore, like going on, like it's just a million miles a minute. And he asked me, he's like, how do you get any work done? I'm like, audiobooks. Do I constantly get distracted and like go and do something when I'm in the middle of a task? Absolutely. Do I try to consciously stop myself from doing that? Yes, I do, because I know that it is a flaw, because otherwise, again, I won't get anything done. So he's just like, how do you? And I'm just like, yeah, audiobooks. It helps keep my mind quiet and not quite as busy. Yeah, I don't know, Josephine, and it blows my mind. Like, how does that even work? You know what also kind of bothers me? I just thought of. Okay, so we know that this is a mirror image, right? There's about equal space on the left and right side and the top. And yet, the crease line is here. I don't like that. I want it to be centered. Sorry. Again, my brain goes off on side quests all the time. But yeah, I do tend to word vomit a bit when I see Steve at the end of the day, just because I'm like, hello, fellow adult. Let me just, spew everything and every little thought that I've had. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. It blows my mind. Okay, so we have that dark umber. Dark umber. Let's go straight into the light umber. But yeah, we have very frank conversations with the kids when they ask. But when it comes to upsetting world things that they have no control over and it doesn't affect their life in any way, we definitely don't bring up anything like that around them. But I didn't used to explain things quite as clearly. I just kind of glazed over it. But as they've gotten older, they have shown me that they can understand and comprehend things much better than I ever really considered. So I try to be as honest as I can without giving them added anxiety. Speaking of the kids, oh, I wish it could never be inactive. It's what I consider undiagnosed. We'll have a book, a text to speech, eyeball read. Mine goes all the time. But speaking of the kids, little Steve had his blood work done. We went and did the labs. Hi, Chrissy. They really are, Kara. We went and got the labs done, and he did brilliantly. I don't know what I was all stressed about. He did it. We didn't tell him where we were going on our way there. We just told him it was a doctor appointment, and he knew that he was getting the day off from school. So he was thrilled. He was thrilled. I had planned to let him have the day off because I assumed that this was going to be a rather traumatic activity, just because they struggle with getting shots and stuff. Asks me how much I know. Yeah, no, I just, like I said, when they ask about things like little Emily asking about, the lockdowns, and she was concerned about whether or not she was safe. So, I did my best to help her feel better about everything. But anyway, so we didn't tell him when we were going down there. We didn't tell him we were going down there. We just said we had a doctor's appointment. He didn't have to go to school, and it was great. Now, we weren't actually at a doctor's office. We're at a place that specifically does labs. Did I grab chocolate? No, let's do a little bit of chocolate. I didn't grab chocolate out. So anyway, so we get down there. I had already made him an appointment and everything. He had to fast for this, so we made sure to get an appointment first thing in the morning. Hi, Kim. So it wasn't of like, why can't I eat? Like, we were really putting off telling him about it in general. So, we got him all checked in. We got him back to the room, and we had a couple minutes before the nurse came in. So then we sat him down, and then we explained why we were there. And he obviously, what's the word? Why can't I? But, rightly so, he started getting real nervous. He's like, wait, what? I'm here for what? But here's the thing. If we explain what we're doing ahead of time, like even if we were to tell him a week beforehand, he would spend that entire week stressing about it. But when we tell him right before we're about to do it, it doesn't give him the extra time to build it up in his head and stress about it. So we told him what it was and everything, and he understood why it was. We're like, buddy, you end up getting sick quite a bit, and we just need to make sure that there isn't, anything else going on. Right. And that's what I was really trying to do is I didn't try to put any words in his mouth. I didn't try to, give him any preconceived notions about it, just that it was something we needed to do. It was going to be fine. It was only going to be like a second or so. So, he was a little apprehensive. And by apprehensive, I mean like a lot, like he was really nervous, but finally because he also is tired of getting sick all the time. Right. So he just, he's like, okay. But I felt so bad because he was like trembling, like he was so nervous. We did. Yeah. So anyway, the nurse is in there. We got a wonderful phlebotomist. She was great with him. There was no bruising on his arm at all. Although keep in mind, we were hydrating him really well, especially after my debacle with the MRI and being dehydrated. And it was just a nightmare to get the, contrast fluid in. Like I was like, okay, if we do anything, we need to make sure that he is incredibly hydrated so that it goes, smoothly and whatnot. So anyway, he saw the I don't know what YouTube will flag. He saw the shiny pointy apparatus that was going to be going in, and he was like, oh, well, that's really tiny. And what I didn't know is that he had built up in his head that when it comes to drawing blood, he thought they just took something and poke. I didn't think to explain what actually happens. And so when we told him that that wasn't it, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I didn't know that they came in it from the side. So she was really sweet with him. And he said that it hurt initially when she put it in. And they did 4 vials. But the hilarious thing is the thing that bothered him the most was the rubber tie they had to put around his upper arm. And so she ended up taking it out after the last vial. And he handled it like a champ. He didn't want to look, which is understandable. I don't want to look either. So he kept his eyes closed, and it was just a matter of waiting until she had everything full, and we're all done. He's like, well, that wasn't too bad. He's like, I'd rather do that than get shots. He's like, I'd rather get my blood drawn 10 times than get 5 shots. And I was like, oh, okay. But we had already promised him there was a small little video game that he wanted for his Switch. And Steve is taking him to a thing this weekend. His Nana, unrelated to the appointment, is sending him some Pokemon cards. And so it's like, okay, well, you've got this and this and this and this if you go ahead and do this. And so if you had asked him, he would have said it was the best day ever. He got to stay home from school because he had to fast. I told him when we came back, I would make whatever breakfast he wanted. So he got to stay home from school. He got to have pancakes. He got a new video game. And so if you were to ask him, he said that day was the best day of his life. And I was just like, well, there were no tears at any point, and this clearly went well. So we were just cracking up at how nervous we were in our he loved it. It was great, but I felt bad because, his sister was worried about him all day. As soon as she got in the car, she was like, are you okay? And he's like, it was a great day. And I was just like, well, okay, I put this off for no reason whatsoever. I didn't express to him that I was nervous about it. But in my own head, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be difficult. Yeah, it was not, and he did wonderfully. And they called us with the results the next day, and thankfully, everything came back perfect. In fact, she said that a lot of times when she does blood work in kids, they are low on vitamin D. His vitamin D levels were perfect. She said he was incredibly hydrated. I was like, oh yeah, we did that for the blood draw. And so she's like, oh, okay. But yeah, he's perfectly fine. He's perfectly fine, which is wonderful because now, even if he does still get sick frequently, we don't have to worry that there's anything underlying. We don't have to be like, okay, he's got another 104-degree fever. What does this mean? We don't have to worry about what it means now. It just means that he's little and we'll get over it at some point. Oh, weird, Dan. Can you see the chat? But yeah, so good news all around. It really is. Yeah. And because, you guys know, this was part of the reason why I had to cut down to only 1 stream because we just get so many illnesses all the time. Little Emily came home from school the other day and one of her friends, she's like, oh yeah, so-and-so had COVID, but she says she's not contagious anymore. And I'm like, oh, that's fabulous. Not on the other account. You can't see it on the other account? Is it just my channel or is it anyone else's? That's weird. Because I didn't ban you at any point, but I can double check in case for whatever reason there was like a misclick or something at some point. But yeah, we all breathed a sigh of relief because now we know that the illnesses are something we're just going to need to ride out, So yes, all good news, good report all around. And now we are ready to just, move on. Knock on wood. We've been good so far this year. Do we keep waiting for the other shoe to drop? Absolutely. All right, let's do this fella's eyebrows. We're going to start with black on this one. And I am going to use the blender, but not until I get more colors around. With me last time, but I just refreshed my YouTube, came back. Interesting. Yeah, I'll double check after stream, make sure that you didn't somehow get blocked for whatever reason. Because that's the only thing I could think of is if you couldn't see the chat or the stream. I feel like that would be the only reason. Unless it's just some mega YouTube glitch. But yeah, so busy weekend this weekend. I know the day will come when I'm going to miss our busy schedule. However, when we're in the thick of it, I'm flipping exhausted. I'm crocheting a lot in the car though. So, you know, there's that. Ah, thanks, Kim. Yeah, we did the clouds for the last one, and then I caught up with the ones on the right yesterday, actually. Okay, let's do, for the eyebrows, let's bring in some dark brown. And then I think we'll do maybe some sienna brown, maybe, or we could do a lighter brown. There we go. I suppose we should do the other side while we're doing it. I'm gonna turn this just a skosh. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, but I've been doing a lot of cooking lately because we've been having much later nights due to after school activities and Steve's work schedule. Like, there have been so many times where I've been like, gosh, it would just be so much easier to pick things up. But when we have late nights, four days out of the 5 business days or, you know, weekdays, I'm like, we would be eating terribly and you know, spending way more money than we need to if we were to, you know, pick up Chick-fil-A or, you know, whatever else on the way home. So I have been making the conscious effort to make, you know, full meals. We're just eating later in the evening now than we used to, but yeah, I'm tired. I think I need to do like prep more crock pot stuff. We do love a good crock pot meal. All right, now we're gonna grab the dark brown. On the Octa, no, I don't know when I'll work on that one again. He's kind of in timeout. I don't have the brain power to do big projects right now. I think maybe next time, like we get like a 3 or 4 day weekend, or the next time we get just some legit time off. There's no rush to get him done. And also, he's kind of too big at this point to take into the car. It's very, very cumbersome. So I'm currently working on a Oddish plushie, which is a type of Pokemon. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I watch crochet videos online, but my For You page has been feeding me, I'm using Peach Beige, has been feeding me a lot of crochet things. And one of the things that seems to be going around a lot is where you take like an old sweater or a t-shirt and you crochet like sleeves or turn it into a poncho or whatever. So I'm working on one of those right now too. I pretty much just grab whatever crochet project I'm feeling as I go on out, you know, outside the door. So I usually have multiples going on all at once. Sorry, we're gonna keep turning it just a little bit. Okay, let's do a little sienna brown. Sorry, my notifications went off. I have it on vibrate, so I have to check to make sure it's not the kids. Okay. But yeah, I was so proud of him. He did so great. And the cool thing is now is if little Emily ever has to get blood work done, he has now played it off as it's really no big deal. So I think it's gonna, you know, we have no plan. She has no reason to get it done. But if it ever comes up, she has now, her first impression with it is that, you know, little brother said, hey, it's fine. It's great. Everything's all fine. Hi, Callie. How are you? Okay. Dark umber. Of course, I don't know. Maybe we could do a poll and see if you guys are even interested in doing the rest of the florals or if you just want to see the finished page. Let's go ahead and do a poll. Okay. Do you want to finish today Okay. Yes or no, I want to see florals. Because we have done some of it already. So if you guys are anxious to start something new, we can do that too. My feelings will not be hurt one way or the other. We're this close to it. This definitely isn't going to be one that I don't accidentally finish. Like, I can't not finish this one, especially after we put all this much time into it. Okay. All right. For the outside of his eyes, let's look at owls real quick. Let's see. So slightly lighter colors, I think, for this part here than just like a super dark brown. Okay, so let's actually start with beige. So you got putty beige, light umber. Let's start with light umber, actually. Oh, it's 50-50 right now. Instead of representative coming out some soup, I can do some of them myself. They sent it by UPS. Oh no, does it at least have instructions? Oh, that's gotta be frustrating. I'm so sorry. Because we did do some of the florals already. So if it's just a matter of, you know, kind of what color balance I did, that is something that could be seen just by a picture. But the question is even when we're done with this one, do we want to take a Johanna break? We could do Christine Karen from her new book. How are we doing on time? I mean, 10:46. We're doing okay. Shannon, are you streaming today? Or like after me today? Okay. Yeah. All right. Finish it today it is. Works for me. Yeah, because with waiting a week in between, I don't want you guys to have to wait that long. So yeah. Maybe I'll put a poll up in the community tab. See what we want to do next. Not immediately. Okay, cool. If you guys aren't following Shannon, you definitely should. Exclamation point Lurky in chat. Lurky. Which is hilarious because that's pretty much what I do in yours as well. Although this week I wasn't able to be in too many of them, but it has just been a chaotic week. I'm like, oh, cool, Shannon's on. I'm going to go leave the stream up. And then something happens like, oh, well, so much for that idea. Thank you, Kim. All right, so we're just using light umber here. Well, in that case, if we're going to finish this today, depending on how far we get with the owl, we may just try and straight up finish this owl. Because part of me just wants to do like one half of him, but I'm not writing down the colors and I don't want to do them incorrectly. All right, so that was the light umber. Let's do, I want to do putty beige. Yeah, let's do putty beige because we may get out the beige sienna. Okay, so putty beige is 1038. Let's see. Hi, Durbin. All right. So putty beige. We're definitely going to go in with a bit more contrasty colors. Okay. And we're going to cut out some of our colors to do the eyes as well. Yeah, because I'm excited to see this one all finished. Okay, let's grab dark brown. Unpaid for leftover. Oh no, unpaid. Remind me, what's the difference between furlough and just time off or vacation time? Obviously, you know, you said unpaid, but remind me what furlough is exactly. If you don't mind sharing. If not, it's okay. But yeah, I'll have to look and see what we did more recently, but I don't think we've done a Christine Karen page on stream yet. Just using dark brown right now. Okay. Did you guys see the new Tony and Ziva show? I haven't seen it yet. Honestly, I enjoyed that first kind of section of NCIS when they were both on there so much. It's one of those things where I'm like, is this gonna ruin it for me? Like, do I wanna watch it again? Determined by the player. Oh no. I've done the Christine Karen on stream. Okay, I couldn't remember. We've only been working on this one, what, like a month? We'll have to look through what the past few streams are. Maybe we could do a mythographic. We haven't done one since we did that bird page. All right, now let's do the dark umber. Hi, Christina, how are you? Okay, so this I want to be darker. Okay. Definitely going to be using our blender for these. I want to smooth out the tooth of the paper. All right, then we're going to do the light umber. And we've got a slight border around these eyes. We'll do that as well. And I think we'll probably do it in dark umber. Sorry, I'll look up at chat here in just a second. I got in focus mode here. There we go. Let's see. Oh, well, that's weird. Why do they require you to do that? Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, no, you're good. Okay. So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit more. Here we go. Make that a little bit more of a difference. Okay, so now let's grab the dark umber. It's a pretty tiny border, so I'm going to give this a nice... It's up to 11. Oh, man, that's what we were last weekend. I was so tired and exhausted from everything. I was just like, I'm putting earplugs in. I'm not setting an alarm. I am just straight up sleeping. I am too dang tired. But this weekend, we've got so much stuff going on. Like, there will be no sleeping in. By sleeping in, meaning we don't have to get up at, like, you know, 6 a.m. to get the kids and everybody to their places on time in the morning. So, you know, if I get to sleep till 8, that's a good day. Okay, so, you know what, let's go ahead and do a little bit of the blender, shall we? Keep from firing anyone else? From anyone else? Oh gosh, how many have they had to let go? So you go, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. I always get nervous when I go over that folded edge. Like, it feels like the paper is gonna rip. So I was thinking, I've got that festival that's coming up. They actually moved it to October rather than September like they did last year because it was just too dang hot. So the festival is in September, or not September, sorry, in October, using dark umber, which means it is coming up. It is coming up. I'm a little out of practice during the summer, or, you know, it's been too hot to do any plein air painting. So thinking next week I'm gonna load up my stuff. Thanks. Till 4:30. Oh no. Hi Sue. I'm gonna load up my stuff and I am gonna go out and do some plein air practicing in preparation for it. All right, we're gonna do all the dark umber, but I want to go to very public places where there's a lot of people. I get a little nervous if I'm plein air painting outside. Like there's a park I would love to go to. There's a really pretty gazebo, but even though it's next to a main road, you can't see in it very much because there's just too many trees. And when I am painting, I zone in and I'm not necessarily aware of all my surroundings. So I want to try and be as safe as possible. So I am choosing an area where there are a lot of people and everything is visible. So, you know, everything stays safer. So I have a couple places picked out. I'm going to load up. I'm going to go do that mostly to practice the 2-hour one. I didn't join the regular gallery show this year, but I am doing the 2-hour painting and then the 3-day one. I just haven't decided where I want to paint yet. Obviously, I don't want to do the same stuff I did last year. So I need to go over to the town where we're going to be doing it in and kind of scope out the area and kind of decide, sorry, I'm emptying the sharpener, decide where I want to go. I also, after seeing what everybody did last year, I'm wondering if I want to do, sorry, it's a small sharpener. If I want to do something bigger, but it's a matter of, you know, how much time I have. So they're not replacing people, 50% of the budget cuts. Oh no, that's rough. That's real rough. Okay, we're gonna do some black here. A lot of times owls will have that black ring around their eyes, so that's what I'm kind of fashioning this after. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to share with you guys what it is that I'm painting in that practice area because that might pinpoint our location a little bit too much, but I am excited to go practice it. Because I'm pretty sure, like, sure, I've been painting, but it's all, like, been at home stuff. So I don't want to jump into this festival, like, on a cold start, you know? Yeah, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? 1 or 2. Yeah. 3. All right, we're just doing a little bit of black here. Okay. And let's do our blender. All right, so now we are gonna bust out with some eyes. So like I said, we have a lot of like orangey kind of red eyes. So that is what I'm going for. So let's see, let's get out our pencils here. We're gonna do terracotta. Oh, cute, you have little owlets in front. Oh, I bet you that's so cool to see. Okay, so let's see, burnt ochre, terracotta, okay? And then we're gonna do, here, we'll zoom out a little bit while we get this. The world may never know, exactly. All right, so terracotta, and then we're gonna do a pretty big jump here. I'm thinking from terracotta to cadmium orange hue. Okay, is that one it? Yes, cadmium orange hue. We're gonna grab orange just in case. And then we're gonna grab yellowed orange, which is 942. Is that one it? Yeah, the yellowed orange. Get that one in a pencil blender. And do I wanna grab cream? Let's grab cream just in case. I don't know the, oh, did I already get that? Oh, I do already have it out. My little My little baby nubbin. In 10 years, how long do owls live? Owls live like a long time, what? White, right. Oh my gosh. Words are hard. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna kind of ignore this extra line that's outlined, and we're just gonna do this all as sort of one color here. So, let's see, am I doing it too red? Well, maybe we just don't do as much on the red. All right, so we're gonna start with the terracotta. Okay, we're just kind of filling in this border just a bit here. Not a ton. Let's see, do pictures of owls, do they have that kind of owl? They do have a little bit of a highlight in their eyes. Okay, so we'll be sure to do a highlight in their eyes as well. Okay, so terracotta. Right along that edge. Okay, now we're gonna grab the cadmium orange hue. Oh, speaking of oranges, made me think of pumpkins. I had to go to H-E-B this morning, and they had the pie pumpkins and everything out, so I'm super excited to cook those down. All right, so cadmium orange hue. It's always amazing to me. Now, granted, you know, canned foods, they're canned foods. They are what they are. But I love when I cook down a pie pumpkin because the orange is like a much lighter orange than the canned pumpkin. So I'll usually cook one down and then I'll freeze it. Usually in increments, because I have these pumpkin muffins that I make that the kids really love. We eat them year round, not just fall time. But I'll just freeze them in, because I think it's like half a cup of pumpkin. Also, I freeze the pumpkin in half cup increments. And then when it comes time, I just have to thaw them and pop them into whatever recipe I'm making. Okay. I don't want them to do like too orangey because I'm wanting them to kind of look similar to the trees. Which is why I'm thinking maybe I should grab, I got yellowed orange. Yeah, well, we'll just keep going with this color for a minute. But I was excited to work on this owl today. I feel like we've been waiting forever to get to this part. Okay. All right, so now before we do the regular orange, let's dive into, well, let's get ourselves a pencil extender. We're gonna dive into the yellowed orange. Because I still want it kind of muted. I don't want it like obnoxiously loud orange. Okay. And I'm mildly concerned that it could be that, but if we do the cream on top, it'll tone it down just a little bit. We'll definitely do some brown where the eyebrows overlap the eyes. Okay. There we go. All right, so now let's go ahead. Yeah, it's great. It's great. So when you get a pie pumpkin at the store, because there is a difference between the pie pumpkins and like the regular, you know, pumpkins that you would carve for jack-o'-lanterns. They're generally smaller and the meat inside is a little bit sweeter. So usually what you do is you can take like a 9x13 pan and then you cut the pumpkin in half, put the cut side facing down. And if I remember correctly, I have to look up the recipe again. If I remember correctly, you put a little bit of water in the pan. And then I forget the length. Again, I'm gonna have to look it up again. But essentially you cook it until the skin starts to kind of shrivel on the outside a little bit. And then you take it out and you can just scoop out all of the pumpkin. And if you want to go for, when you cut it out, you take the pumpkin seeds out too. Then you can put it like through your food processor if you want it like ground up a little bit more. Yeah, it's really kind of easy actually. All right, do I want chocolate? No, let's grab our dark umber again. So glad I got extras to these pencils. Okay. All right, so dark umber. I want to add a little bit of that darkness under the eyebrow. Oh, I didn't continue that in the smaller area. Sorry, I should have continued it in this area here, but we'll come back to it. Okay, so dark umber. There we go. All right, for this inside part, let's go ahead and do just a little bit of the cadmium orange hue. Just a bit. Okay, then that yellowed orange. And we'll definitely come in with that cream. Okay. I kind of feel like I want to break out a little bit of gel pen to kind of like outline that part just a little bit. All right, let's use our blender. There it is, hiding under a pencil. Okay. That way we get an accurate representation of how bright these colors are. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and grab, let's see, where are my Sleechy gel pens? We could do, oh, thank you. Working any more on the community quilt? Not since the last update. Not since the last update. I think there's how many, let's see, how many updates do we need for it? Might only be 1 or 2. Hang on, now I want to check real quick. We're getting real close to having enough squares for everyone to fill it. Oh, that's right. I was going to lower the prices since we're streaming less. Hang on, I'm making myself a note. Lower quilt prices. Okay, let's see. Oh, we've got 2. We've got 2. Oh, both for Mona. So yeah, we have Mona's to add on to, but that one's it for now. No, we're really only down to 1 stream a week now. There's been too much stuff going on, and between illnesses and everything else, it just wasn't practical. All right, we're doing the gold around this line here. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I may do it around the edge also. Of course, this is tempting fate, me doing gel pen before I'm done coloring the owl. Just have to be careful. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I do have an orange one here, but does it, oh, it comes out like metallic yellow. Well, we're already doing the yellow. I don't want to mess with it too much. I think it works. All right, so we're just doing this little outline here. Okay. Hi, B. How are you doing? All right. We're going to let that dry before we add any extra highlights. Let's do this other top part of his head here before we do too much. Let's also get out goldenrod. Okay, goldenrod. And let's do canary yellow. No, because we're doing more of a brown, so. All right, let's see. Let's grab our sienna brown. Yeah, sienna brown. Okay, and let's do this part here. Give it a quick look. Oh, I'm so glad, Bee. How are you? Cool. See, this is exactly where the owl would be hanging out in this forest because he would blend in with the trees so well. Go. Okay. And let's do the goldenrod. Right? A little bit. A little bit. I could see that. Trying to be aware of the gold gel pen. Okay. And then let's do some of the dark umber. Doing on time. 11:10. Go. I know I'm not talking a ton, but now we're like in focus mode. Okay, that's a little bit more yellow than I want. So we're going to take the white and I'm going to tone it down just a bit. Ooh, did I do it? Oh, I put my hand in it, but I didn't smear it. We're okay. We're okay. It's fine. I knew it was going to happen. I have a history. I knocked my coffee over in the car the other day, but I always have lids on my coffee. So I jokingly told little Emily, I was like, see, this is why I have a sippy cup. I can't be trusted with objects. All right, now let's go ahead and do dark brown. Okay, dark brown. We're gonna fill in this whole spot. Okay. But you were missed, and then everybody's like, yay! I love that. Okay, so that is the brown. Let's get some black. Okay, make sure I'm not putting my hand in the gel pen. Okay. Well, I'll definitely try and work on this because it'd be cool if I could put up the final one tomorrow. Okay, let's actually do some black in these little triangles here. Yeah, no, little Emily has expressed that she would like to, but she is not quite old enough yet. While there is no hard and fast law, because I actually looked this up the other day, there is no hard and fast law for what age your child can start drinking coffee. However, it has been proven to stunt their growth a bit if you let them start too early or drink too much. Now, I drink half calf every day. And right now, I'll tell you much, they don't need any additional caffeine. However, I think that once she's in high school, we can probably start doing that. She likes my coffee, so I've let her taste it before. But yeah, as a general rule, we're using black now. We do not let her drink coffee yet. Milk tea? No, not so much. She likes some tea, but she usually only drinks it when she's sick or something. The fact of the matter is, like, in the US, tea isn't such a huge thing as it is everywhere else in the world. So we do mostly like juice or milk or water. We don't really do sodas unless it's a special occasion. But yeah. Like I said, I think when she hits high school, we'll talk more about it. Let's add a little bit more black to this for the shadow. She'd drink it right now if I let her, because she does like how it tastes. But, yeah, she's a little too young for it. But she does look forward to the day in which she can. Hi, Blue. How are you? Drinks coffee sometimes. She's not in high school yet. Yeah, and I think sometimes is definitely okay. And obviously, you parent your kids the way you want, obviously. She has a friend who brings coffee to school on occasion. But, yeah, we don't do it much yet. Milk with coffee. Hi, bud. What's up? Let's not get your paws in the gel pen here. Did you hear us talking? You didn't want to miss out? Okay, we're taking a quick, oh, don't want him to get on the gel pen. Quick cat break. How are you? Were you getting lonely down there? Right, Shannon? Like I said, I drink half calf as it is, but... Hi. Guys, I wish you could feel him. His fur is so soft. Like, this is probably the... Because, like, I've had cats for years, but he is the closest I've ever felt, like, similar to, like, chinchilla fur. Like, he is so soft. I would love to understand my cat's genetics a little bit more. Like, what is it that makes his fur so soft? Or, you know, like for our older kitty, like, why is her fur so dense, you know? If I can zoom out. No, you can't really see his head, but... The coffee to take me to school was like 30-minute commute because we had to be at the... yeah, that's fair. That started when I was 12. I could see that, though. She is. In fact, we were trying to figure out her schedule. One of the reasons it was so chaotic before is because we were trying to figure out her schedule for this class that she was taking. She really wasn't enjoying it and everything. And she had come home the other day and she had taken a test for one of her classes. And she did not do as well as she would have liked. Now, you have to understand, she is very much all about achievement. If it's lower than a B, like most of the time she is straight A's, so even a B upsets her. Anyway, for this particular class, it was much lower than she wanted it to be. And so she came home and she was so frustrated with herself and everything. And of course, I'm trying to help her feel better about it. You know, it's not the end of the world. No one on her college transcripts are going to look at her grades from the grade she is in now and be like, yeah, no, can't have this kid, you know. Paul, you're sitting on all my pencils. I think I got most of them. Anyway, so she was really frustrated. But so we had this class that we were trying to figure out how to make it work for her. We were able to, but consequently, we had to rearrange her schedule. About half of her classes had to get moved around. Well, this class that she got the grade in that she wasn't happy with, she got moved to a different class. Same class, just at a different time. Well, for whatever reason, this particular class, like, they're used to like 30 kids in their classrooms, like 20 to 30, depending on how they're packed. And in this class where she got a not great grade, the class was very obnoxious and very loud sometimes. Well, because we had to change her schedule, she got moved to, I want to do this part here. Okay. Are we good? Or if you changed your mind, you got to make up your mind, bud. Okay, he has decided to leave us. Yeah, exactly. She's very, she, you know, even when she was little, she used to just scream and scream when she wanted to crawl, but she couldn't because she was too little. But anyway, so she got moved to this other class. And for whatever reason, this other class only has 9 kids in it. It's just the way the scheduling is. This particular class has 9 kids in it and she is loving it. Her grades are better. Like, not that her grades were ever bad by any means, but, you know, for her standard, she was just so relieved because it's quiet, she can concentrate, she can study, it's not distracting, and yeah, she was over the moon. So she's, you know, definitely, sorry, part of the paper is ripping here because it's the seam, so I'm trying to cover it a little bit. Anyway, so yes, school has been going much better, especially since she moved, and she's very happy with it. Yeah, that's exactly it, Kim. Sir Paul is present in the class? Yes, seriously. Okay, beaks for the owl. kind of varies. Some are light, some are dark. I guess we'll do whatever with it. But yeah, so she is very pleased to be in a much more quiet class, chill class, and even one of her friends is in there with her, and so she's absolutely loving it. So yeah, school is going much better this year. We already know, kind of the things that she likes. We were able to get her in the classes that she wanted for the things that she's been enjoying. So we're definitely settling in, which is great. It is wonderful to see her thrive. Absolutely. Okay, actually, we're just going to fill this all in with goldenrod. This little triangle above, we're going to fill it in with the light umber. Right? Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, maybe it wasn't that math was hard before. It was just that everything was too noisy and obnoxious. So yeah, she is this year, when I would pick her up from school last year, I'd be like, oh, okay, so how we have like gauges of how school was. And I'm like, is it meh, bleh, or yeah? And we've had a lot less bleh years or days. So I'll count that as a win. I will take meh over bleh any day. All right, so that's dark umber. So yes, I am very pleased. She is coming home much happier than she was last year. She's not stuck doing any classes that she's totally miserable in. So yeah, I'm excited for her. Because I think it's going to help her all around have a more positive attitude about school. That it isn't necessarily that it's school that she dislikes. It's just the fact that there are other kids at school. Or at least kids that are making a disruptive work school space. Do they get tons of homework? I expected her to get more, and she may get more later in the year, but no, there really hasn't been any yet, because our method is when we get home, first things first, they get a snack. I'm like, all right, who has homework? But that hasn't happened yet, but the school year's not that far in, so. Sort of choice in the UK, choice for what? Like which classes they get? College, online, for those types of classes. I knew I could never do well. I'm a very introverted learner. Yeah. The funny thing is I used to be incredibly extroverted, which I still am in the sense that if I am in a position where I need to talk to strangers or whatever else, like I'm not shy by any means, but I find that I am not nearly as like energized or jazzed as I used to be for being around people. I'm using dark umber. So I'm like, I really understand with this. It's just like, well, I don't want to go to school. Well, why don't you want to go to school? There's people there. It's like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't want to go outside. Why? There's people out there. It's not that it's gone so much. It's just not directed at her as much because she has now found her kind of group of people. And so, and again, the class choices are better. So she hasn't said too much. But yes, there has been a lot less of that this year, which just is fabulous because let's be honest, school is hard enough without having to deal with all of that, Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, it's 11:23 already. I gotta color faster. Or I suppose I should do that little top patch, shouldn't I? Let's do light umber. I have a tendency to do that. I get focused on other parts and then I leave something like a singular patch on the head till much too late. All right, let's do some of that goldenrod. Okay, do a little bit more light umber. Aw, thanks. To sit alone in class, yeah. Yeah, gosh, if I had to go back to school, like college or whatever, I don't know, man. I don't think I would enjoy that. I mean, I'd do it if I had to, if, my life circumstances changed for whatever reason, but yeah, I don't know. You'd think with me being like home all the time, like I'd be lonely, but I'm really not. Like, it's kind of nice. And I think probably because like we're just so busy, there isn't a whole lot of time for extra stuff, Yeah, me too. Is your brother in the same or opposite in his learning style?
He hasn't really said so far, but like things like math come incredibly easy to him. Like math is, I mean, because he gets straight A's too, but math is just, it's not a struggle at all. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So for him, he gets pretty good grades. He hasn't really mentioned any bullying or anything, thankfully. He's still pretty young though. So, I mean, we'll see what happens when he gets in some of the older grades, but as of now, I don't know that he would necessarily stress if he got like a B or something. But it just hasn't happened yet because he's just had straight A's from here on out. I don't worry about him too much academically, but I suppose we'll see once things get more difficult. There we go. That's a little bit more accurate. I turned up the brightness when Paul paid us a visit. But I'm liking how it's turning out. Like we're getting some light glare, so you guys aren't getting a lot of evenness at the moment. I definitely, given that the owl is going to be brown, I definitely want to include a lot more indigo on the flowers, and we'll find a balance for it. But we're definitely sticking with kind of a blue, orange, yellow kind of theme. Oh, thanks, Kim. Okay, so now let's do this little kind of collar that he has. I want to get that part done before we start to move into, because this is going to be more of like a lighter kind of chest on it. So let's start with, do we want to do chocolate? Yeah, actually, let's start with chocolate. And I'm going to say that this is going to be part of that kind of collar area. So we're actually going to fill this in completely with chocolate. Now I want chocolate. Little Emily's having a friend over, and so I'm planning on doing chocolate chip cookies for dessert when they're here. I'm going to do my chicken Alfredo, and then, yeah, I don't know. I like to plan out the food. I figure anything I can do to help her foster friendships and make my home welcoming in a way to where her friends want to come over, that's going to go a long way to helping her cultivate more friendships. So we have yet to have a play date of sorts where the kids have gone home not feeling like they weren't fully fed or they were bored or whatever else. So we had the kids got to have a number of their friends over for dinner the other night, and I made burgers and I made like little snack cake for dessert. They were loving it. Actually, let's fill this in all the way to the edge. Go. No, I wouldn't say they ever argue about each other's grades. I'll be honest, they don't really, oh, this is be like, oh, how's that possible? They don't really argue that much. I mean, maybe little stuff or whatever when they get mildly annoyed, but they get along pretty well. I think part of that really helps that, one, they're close in age, but two, it's just the two of them. Like me and my siblings, we fought as all get out. And there were 4 of us. We were kind of spaced further apart too. But we fought like terribly. Now Steve is an only child, so the sibling dynamic is new to him. And I don't know, maybe it's just because the only other sibling dynamic I know is my dynamic that I had with my siblings, which was just a boat full of chaos. So when I see my kiddos, I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of pleasant. Alex, hello. Barney the barn owl. There you go. I wish I had your energy. That's just fueled by coffee. Honestly, by the time the day has ended and I'm done being in the car, like I've got the 1,000-yard stare, man. Because it's not like sitting in the car waiting is hard. It's just draining. It's warm. You're sitting there. That's why I always bring something for me to do. And you may be like, well, why on earth are you hanging out in the vehicles? Because especially now, the kids are at different schools and I have to get in lines at certain points. I have to line up at a certain point because when I go to little Steve's school, if I don't get there at a certain time, I have to wait on the side of the road, the way the line works up, and I do not feel safe doing that whatsoever. Plus, I have to get him at a certain amount of time to have enough time to get over to the other kid's school to be in line in time for that to make it home at a certain time. I know that sounds chaotic, but yeah, by the time I am all done and I've got everybody picked up, like it's been 3 hours in the afternoon in the car. I have a friend who has more children than I do, and all of her children all go to different schools. And we're asking her like, oh, so, you know, how's that working with all pickups and drops? She's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And she did the bus, which I don't blame her, all those different times. And theoretically, the kids could take the bus, but I'm essentially a stay-at-home mom, short of, I'm using light umber, short of, you know, what I do social media and art-wise. And I have the capabilities to pick them up and bring them home. And so I would rather do that than send them on a bus. Little Emily used to take the bus at one point when she was younger. Then the school lost her, and I went to go pick her up at the bus stop. The door opens. My kid doesn't come out. I look at the bus driver, and I'm just like, here, hold on. I'm just like, where is she? And they're like, I don't know. A school bus, not public bus. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know? And I try calling the school, and the school isn't picking up the phone because it's the end of the day, like it's school pickup time and everything. And I'm just like panicking, like seriously. Thankfully at the time, and she was little, like not kindergarten, but she was little. And I'm panicking. And keep in mind, I think I've told this story before, but at this point in time, we did not have a reliable vehicle. It frequently had issues, right? So I can't get a hold of the school, but thankfully I have a great relationship with her teacher. And we did too, but that's because when I was younger, I had to bus to a different town to go to my specific school. We lived out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm able to get in touch with her teacher, and I was like, hey, little Emily wasn't on the bus. Where is she? Like, where is she? She didn't know where she was. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it was after that incident, we had them memorize like our home address and how we get to our home. Like they had our phone numbers memorized, but not our home address. And this was before the kids had smartwatches or anything. So for all I knew, my very young daughter was completely MIA. I don't know if she got on the wrong bus. I don't know if she's standing there waiting for me to pick up. I don't know if she's been kidnapped. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I get a hold of her teacher and I'm like, hey, she wasn't on the bus. Where is she? She's like, what do you mean she wasn't on the bus? And she's like, I'm going to go find her right now. So thankfully she dropped everything she did, tried to go find her and everything. I'm panicking. Little Steve is very little at this time. So I bundle him up, get him in the car, all buckled in. The car doesn't start. Okay, keep in mind, my child has now been missing for like 15 minutes and nobody knows where she is. And my car had just died and I've got, this other infant with me and I am just like panicking. Thankfully, at the place where we lived at the time, I had two best friends that lived in the same complex with me. So I get little Steve out, I bundle him up, I head over to her place and I just knock on the door and I was just like, hey, little Emily's missing. Can I buy your vehicle? And there was like no hesitation whatsoever. It was 30 seconds. She grabbed the keys, tossed them at me and said, go ahead. So I loaded up little Steve and I borrowed my friend's vehicle and got over there. And by the time I got over there, her teacher had located her. It wasn't as tragic, thankfully. Apparently, at the end of the day, the kids spend time in the library, but the library assistant was a sub today and didn't know to tell different kids that it was time to go to the bus. And so little Emily was just happily in the library, but I was for those 15, 20 minutes, I was in a pure panic because the school's not answering. No one knows where she is. She didn't get off the bus. I was very grateful for friends with reliable vehicles and very good teachers at the time, but yeah, you wanna go into free fall panic? Have your kid missing. But yeah, so I don't know. Buses are kind of if I don't need to have the kids take the bus, I'd rather spend. So as much as I'm like, oh, I spend all day chauffeuring, it's also my own choice. So, you know, it's not too terrible when I'm there. I just, you know, spend a lot of time in the car. I'm in the middle of the road. The next day, Dad came to pick me up. Oh, no. But yeah, so it was a touch chaotic. And I think they like being picked up too. You know, they don't have to wait on the bus. They don't have to ride the bus. You know, it's no noisy. Like, it's just, it's all good. It's all gravy. Okay, let's do these little area on the outside. Let's go ahead, do all burnt umber with it. Yeah, dark, sorry, not burnt umber, dark umber. We don't have a burnt umber in here. What am I thinking of this? Well, there's probably a number of sets that have a burnt umber. I was just so grateful that we had such a good teacher for her that I was able to contact her straight away. Is errant a word? Hi, Natalie. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think it is errant, like an errant child. I don't recall what it means, but I do recall those two words being put together. But yeah, I don't remember what it means, though. This would be the moment where I'd either dictionary it or look at Steve and be like, hey, you know what this word means? How are we doing on time? 11:35. We're doing okay. For some reason, I thought a lot more time had passed and I was panicking. I really want to get this owl done. And I feel like we're making a pretty good pace here. Oh, it was... Oh! Oh my gosh. I don't know if errant, maybe like a rogue, but still. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's like terrible. That's why I didn't really know what to tell her yesterday when she was asking about that. Told her that we can't live our lives in fear, right? We can only do what we can do to be prepared and to be smart. As far as, I'm sure those of you, again, I'm not going to say too many words on it because YouTube would flag it, but I'm sure you guys have heard about things happening in the US at some schools very recently. But it's perfectly normal that when they're doing those kinds of drills at school, that she comes home and is concerned. And we never, while that did happen when I was in school, it wasn't as common, and we didn't have those kinds of drills. And so I can only imagine how nervous those kids are feeling, because it's like, yeah, you can't live in fear. You can only do what you can do. And once you've done everything you can do, you have to just move on. And it sounds awful, but short of pulling them out of school, which she therein loses all the opportunity and friends that she had before, what do, you know? Stray, yeah. I don't know, I was talking to Steve about it. That was one of the things we were discussing on our way home. Like, did I phrase it the right way? Is there anything else I could have told her to help put her mind at ease? And there just isn't a ton. Oh, I can only imagine. Hi, Marilyn. I'm using the blender to smooth this out. I just hate that that is her reality. That's something she even needs to be concerned about. And again, I'm not making it political, but I do look forward to the day when my children don't need to be worried about whether or not they're going to come home from school. Anyway, that's getting dark. I'm sorry. We'll move on. We'll move on. But yeah, I'm excited to get this page finished. I'll have to figure out what we're going to do next. I'll need to kind of flip through my books and see what sings to me. Yeah. I just wish I could help them make sense of it more, you know? Being a parent is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Okay, let's go for a lighter color now. I'm actually wondering if I should do, no, you know, let's do putty beige. Hi, Anna, sounds good. Okay, so let's start with putty beige, and we're actually gonna kind of do all putty beige in this, probably this area here. Maybe this border we'll do a little bit darker brown, but for a lot of this area, we're gonna start with putty beige as kind of our base color. Okay. Did that so you don't get flagged. Did what? I missed something. Well, that's good that they're feeling like, you know, that there's steps that they can take to, you know, make them feel more secure or improve things in certain ways. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. Parenting is definitely not for the faint of heart. You know, when they're little, it's really easy. You know, they're hungry, they need a diaper change, they need a clothes change, they're overstimulated, whatever. It was easy. But now we're getting into the, oh, remove that comment. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're getting into life is much more complicated, you know? I mean, it blows my mind that, you know, not going to be too long before they're teenage or whatever. But I've already told them, given the cost of living and everything, I'm like, just so you know, when it comes time for you to go to college or quote unquote move out, like you don't have to move. I'm not saying like this, you know, don't leave us, don't move out. Like that's not what I'm trying to tell her. I'm like, basically, she shouldn't need, there's no reason for her to rush to move out if she hasn't figured out what she wants to do yet. Like, that is what we are here for, to be her cushion. And I don't want to have to, you know, have her think, oh, 18, I got to move out, but how am I going to pay for rent when rate is completely, you know, insane? And so I'm trying to express to her, like, you know, it's okay. You are welcome to stay with us for as long as you need. But I will still enjoy them when they are little and life is a little bit more simple. Okay, so now we're going to do some cream on this middle part here. I'm feeling the cream be a little wobbly. It may detach itself sooner rather than later. All right, let's do some cream here. Are we in frame? We're a little bit on frame. Oh yeah, no, we're good. That's why I love Shannon. Like, just I didn't even see it, and so she like takes care of everything. So it's probably nothing wrong, but YouTube is just so finicky about what the algorithm can catch. That's why you'll find like people online when they're describing things, you know, they'll choose words that may seem like silly words. Choose words that may seem like silly words, but they have to use those words if they want to be able to talk about certain subjects. But it is nice having a historian as a husband, because as much, you know, a big part of it is we have a lot more access to information now than we ever did in the past. And so it's really easy to get caught up in everything that's going on and you know, be worried about everything. But because he is a historian, like I said, I'll make notes in my head of things that I have heard. And obviously, you know, double check my sources. So it's not just, you know, random's mother's brother's uncle said that something happened, you know, double check my sources. And then he will be my sounding board because he knows his history. And it's like, okay, so we know that this happened in, you know, 19 whatever, but like, how does it compare to what's happening today? And he's able to give me very informed, and a lot of times he puts my mind at ease about whether or not I need to be concerned about something that's going on. Like, how will this affect us day to day? Is this something we need to be concerned about, kind of thing? And he definitely helps to put my mind at ease quite a bit because he can come at it from a knowledgeable and logical point of view. So if you need to, marry a historian. They're very helpful. Yeah, exactly, Durbin. Right? Yeah, we hear about things that we never really would have heard about before. Like, let's just say, again, I'm not saying anything specific, but let's just say there are some world things happening right now, relationships between different countries, countries that are friends versus not friends or whatever else. And there was a story that came out, and it was, I won't say what it was, but it was a story that came out, and I was like, oh gosh, that seems concerning. And so I brought the story to him and I said, hey, so I heard about this today. Like, what are your thoughts? And he's just like, well, first of all, so-and-so and so-and-so have been allies in the past. So what you're seeing now isn't anything new. It's just the fact that you're hearing about it. And so that right there immediately goes, oh, okay, well, since these particular people are friends, it doesn't mean the world is coming to an end. Okay, cool. So let's see, we're gonna do French gray 50%. It's just nice to have someone very logical that I can bounce my concerns and ideas off. Because sometimes it's hard, even when you back up your sources on multiple news outlets. Again, like I said, you get so much information, sometimes it's hard to sort through it. And so he helps me put logic to it and be like, okay. So XYZ, while scary, things like this have happened before. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're all going to implode at the moment. Because like I said, if you were living in World War II, you would have thought that the world was coming to an end, but it didn't. It was just that you were isolated and lots of terrible stuff was happening. So yeah, it gives me, he's my own Hope Corps movement. Be like, honey, this thing happened. Is everything okay? He's like, yep, everything's fine. All right, so that's French gray. And let's do, let's see, French gray, that was pretty light actually. Let's do peach beige out. Let's do some peach beige. Yeah, he's a really fabulous, actually let's do ginger root. He's a really fabulous soundy board, so I definitely count myself lucky that he can put my mind at ease pretty frequently. That being said, Scotland's looking pretty good, all I'm saying. Actually, who am I kidding? Even if there wasn't a ton of stuff going on, I still love the idea of moving to Scotland. I think that would be fun. An adventure. Okay, so right now this is looking a little bit of a hot mess. He knows entirely too much, right? Exactly. Because there are some times where I do a bit of a panic thing and I'll be like, hey, I read this today and I'm really concerned. And he's just like, okay, well, hold it. Let me listen to it. So there was like, there was some story that was told, and what I missed at the very beginning was that this was something that happened a couple years ago, and the video was referencing that versus something that happens now, and I misheard the time or the date of it, that it had already passed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this just happened. Like, what do you know about it? What are your thoughts? He's like, well, wait a minute, let me listen to it. And then he heard it with a more objective thing. He's like, wait, what, when did he say that happened? And I was just like, oh, wait, that's not, that happened a while ago. Never mind, we're good. Thanks for that. And I was a little embarrassed for that one because I try not to follow any, like fear-mongering stuff. And so I usually double check it. But that one, for whatever reason, caught me off guard. And I was like, honey, what does this mean? He's like, nah, we're good. That already happened. I'm like, oh, okay. We're good. I suppose it is a good sign if you have a husband or a partner that literally gives you peace. Peace in your heart, peace in your head. Yeah. He lets me know whether or not it's worth spending my time thinking about. But I suppose when you have 3 degrees and they all cover historical stuff, he's a pretty good fella to bounce ideas off. Okay, so we are just using, what are we using? We're using, hold on, I remember. Like living under my roof. You know, there are days. There are, we're doing light umber. There are absolute days for that. Some days I'm just like, I'm not touching social media today. I need a detox. Seems like every time you open it up, it's like, oh, well, that unprecedented thing happened. That's kind of terrifying. Can we stop living in unprecedented times? Can we live in some precedented times for a while? That would be fabulous. I don't need any more precedented or unprecedented. Okay, so that was light umber. Do I want to do a slightly different color for this part? No, you know, we're going to keep going with light umber for this. Because what we'll do is we'll go back in with like our dark umber and we'll add some shadowy bits. It'll kind of work for it. I was painting the bathroom and told me there was an egg McMuffin waiting for me next to the coffee pot. He has the day off. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Be like, hello, beautiful wife. I am repainting. I have brought you snackies and coffee. Please put your foot up. Like, oh, well, that sounds fabulous. Right, Durbin? Yeah, I find that when I pay too much attention to the news, I find that I am just very, very mentally tired. Okay. Good news is my parents are going to be here soonish in the next couple of weeks. And although I am very excited to see them, you know what that means? That means the pedal sewing machine will be here. It was living at my mother-in-law's house for the last decade. But we convinced my dad to bring it down with them when they come visit next. So, right, I'm so excited. Never do news on Sunday. That's right, a detox day, that's what we need. All right, our little owl is coming along. How are we doing on time? 11:51. I'm not gonna stop like right at noon. I wanna at least get enough on this owl done to justify saying we'll start something new next time. That being said, I am getting hungry, so I'm not going to go too long after 12. I'm just using light umber right now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why a majority of my feed is filled with funny cat and dog videos, fall recipes, and crochet patterns. Well, and adult coloring too, but the algorithm knows what I like. When I first joined TikTok, it was like so noisy and it was showing me just a random smattering of anything that I think they assumed that people would get sucked into watching, but I was just like, this is too noisy. And then I figured out how to mark that I'm not interested in videos or I don't like said video. And I'm like, oh, this is much easier. And it was after that that I stopped getting all the noise and videos I didn't like and started getting dog videos and crafting videos. Let's see, that was Putty Beige, which that's all kinds of enjoyment. My only issue with crafting videos is that everything I see is freaking adorable. And now I have all these ideas for crochet projects banked, but like I can't make them all at once. I need more hands. So if anybody knows the hand store where I can get some extra hands installed, that would be fabulous. You know, and that's the thing is like I definitely had, you guys actually want to know something behind the scenes that I don't even know that I've told Steve. So you know, I've been working on this Small Victories, and I do a lot of colorful pages. We've done some neutral pages. But this page was a little bit different. I had been bombarded while I was working on this page. This was a series of, I think I did episode 1, 2, and 3, or part 1, 2, and 3. During this time that I was doing it, there was a lot of stuff that had happened in the news. I made the mistake of scrolling TikTok while I was, you know, coloring or whatever. There was just a lot of distressing things happening in the news, whether you're left or right, whatever. It was all very sad, very scary, and very disheartening, and I made the mistake. I had been watching too much of it. And I ended up going with darker colors because that's how I was feeling. Everything seemed to be getting set on fire, and the world was terrible. And I was not feeling the super bright colors. So I added a lot of black to these ones. Thanks. But again, it's all those side things. I don't really tell anybody. I was just like, I'm sad this day. We're doing black. Neither of your children have an interest in crocheting. Yeah, they both expressed interest in it. But right now, it's more of the attention span for it. Little Emily can do a chain. Little Steve can do a chain. Little Emily can do a panel, but she doesn't quite get the concept of counting her stitches yet, so it usually ends up wonky, but she can do a panel. So, so yes, and I think that she'll probably enjoy it more when she gets older. But they have shown interest in it. Okay, so I did cream on the back. I feel like I want to do a really, really light, like let's get yellow ochre for the chest. This is the Crayola one. Hang on. I just finished with the Crayolas. Okay, yellow ochre. There it is. So yes, my mood does sometimes affect my color choices. That is true. That is true. Okay, so we got the yellow ochre. Yeah, for the most part, I try and keep myself in check as far as my absorption of information. But I'll be honest, even I let it get away from me sometimes, and it does get in my head. I think we would all love to live in a world where there is less hate, more peace, just, yeah. I don't know, I think that's a big part of the reason that Star Trek appeals to a lot of people. Sorry, I've got clouds in the sky, so it's like shifting, like dark and light. But that's a huge part of why I think Star Trek appeals to people, because theoretically, you know, Star Trek comes at a time when the world has grown past its inner turmoil, you know, seeks the stars. The idea behind that is just absolutely wonderful. And so I think that's a big part of what Star Trek appeals to people. But the day is very dark. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's do here. Yeah, I've definitely, in the last year or so, I have to limit myself. Otherwise, doom. I mean, whichever side you're on, I think at this point, we're all pretty unhappy with everything that's going on. I think we all just want something better. But history has shown us that doesn't come easily. So I guess we shall just see. Hi, Connie. No worries. Interested in my needle crafts and he can crochet, knit, and tat so very well. He sewed his bride's wedding dress. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. There's a little boy online who has expressed his desire to be a fashion designer, and he's so good. It's adorable. Okay, so that is the belly, but I want to add some more shadow to it. So we are going to grab the dark umber. Give it a quick little sharpen because I want to make sure we're a bit more precise. 11:59. There's not enough hours of the day. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we're definitely going to add some here. Okay. Sorry, went into focus mode there for a sec. So yeah, after the poll earlier, I think this will be our last day with this page. So I will need to do some flipping through of my books and see what calls out to me of what we want to do next. I'm hesitant to choose Johanna for our next one because we've been working on this Johanna one for a while. So currently I'm leaning towards either Mythographic or Christine Karen. So I will have to see what I'm kind of in the mood for, you know? Oh, it's a new thing. I haven't been able to spend as much time in live chats lately, and so I feel like I keep missing out. Did we ever figure out the hype thing? I forgot about that. It's because usually like when I'm done with stream, my mind goes straight to, ooh, snackies, food. Like, I am going to go straight down and eat some lunch when we are done with this. Am I still in frame? Yes, okay. Mythographic, but which one? I only have one right now, actually. But I did see that Joseph Catamom is coming out with a new one, so that's pretty cool. When does Little Folk come out? I actually don't have that one pre-ordered. I just figured I'd get it when I get it. All right, so I'm just using this dark umber to kind of just add some drop shadows to give it a little bit of depth. Okay, let's do a little bit more here. I mean, obviously you can't really do this super realistically because there's nothing about this owl, short of the fact that we know it's an owl, that looks realistic. So we're just kind of making it work. Oh, it came out on the 8th. Okay, I was gonna say. Do you have it, Shannon? I do plan on getting it. I just haven't gotten it yet. Okay, let's do a little bit of our goldenrod. The only downside about double page spreads is that little crease in the middle. But there's not really a way to avoid that. Okay, let's add some more here. Oh, it hasn't even shipped yet. Oh, man. All right, let's put a little shadow under here. Okay, you know, my tummy is growling. We may, I know I said I was gonna go till the owl was done, but we may call it here shortly. So let's discuss let's discuss what else will be going on with this page. So you kind of saw how I did the brown on the owl. So this, I knew I wanted to be a lighter area. So the wings are going to be a combination of kind of the browns that we used up here. This section up here will probably be a little bit lighter so that it contrasts the darker brown. So we'll probably go a little bit lighter brown here, darker brown here, and then a dark brown here. And then of course we'll do brown with the leaves. And then for the outside, because like I said, this is gonna be our last day with it. I'm gonna catch up on the rest on my own. But for the outside, I definitely want to have more of these indigo flowers. I'm not necessarily gonna do the exact same like mirror image, because I've already said like I don't want to do it completely mirror image. Obviously we got different clouds on either side, different trees. So that will be pretty much it is, but I'm sticking to the kind of blue, muted oranges and browns. So these ones over here, we did these 2 streams ago, I believe. So these flowers here are indigo. We added just a touch of green on some of these just to give the leaves variation, but we're going to be doing kind of blues and browns with maybe just a slight hint. I want to say I used jade with these. So a slight hint of green on some of them, but nothing at all to say that we're doing like adding green to our color palette. Aside from that, that'll pretty much be it. You know, we'll do some shadows, but if you're following along for whatever reason, I will definitely be posting the final picture when it's all done. So you can always screenshot it or save it or whatever if you want to use it as a guide. I'm excited to see it finish though. I think it's going to be pretty epic when it's all done and I get the, you know, get it photographed and everything. Because I haven't seen, have you guys seen anybody finish this particular page yet from the Enchanted, from the anniversary book? Because I don't know if I've just missed it. I'll need to do another look. How is the back? The back's doing okay. It's got a little bit on it, but I don't plan on coloring this one. If I ever end up coloring this one, I'll just get another book because I don't want it to interfere with this side. Thanks. I had a couple of Rias and I turned around. My cat landed on me and I moved them. So oh no, it's a rule. It's a rule. You can't move them. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited for this. So let me peruse my books. We'll do something new next time. Let me look at the calendar, see if we've got any announcements. I don't know of anything coming up. We should be able to stream next Friday. I'll let you know if I need, maybe I'll shift it to another day if we need to, because if it interferes with my parents' visits, we'll figure it out from there. They should be here after that, but just in case they arrive early, I'll keep you guys posted. But crap, that's only a week away. I have lots of stuff to do. Anyway, but yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased with it. It's been a bit of a journey, but I think, you know, leading into the fall season, it's going to look pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna head out. I am hungry. The kitchen is calling. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. I know it gets a little bit of a walking through mud when we get to the end of the page here, but I appreciate you guys all here hanging out and gives us a good little respite from whatever the heck is going on in the world. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat something. Enjoy your week. Shannon is streaming later. You can type an exclamation point Lurky. If you're not following her, you should. Yeah. It's all gravy. I'm gonna go eat something. All right. Keep being awesome, guys. I will chat with you later. Bye.